And the horses are entering the track for race number 1. Upcoming first race, a winners over pacing event. The purse $25,000. These are the pacers for race number 1. Number 1, Real Peace, owned by the Burke Racing Stable, and Scott Dillon, driven by Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 2, The Bird Dance Inn, owned by Philip McKenzie, driven by Ron Cushing. Number 3, Quick Shot, owned by Kathleen Brewer, driven by Nick Raffam. Number 4, Cigars and Port, owned by the Fox Ridge Stable and Wally Watson. Wally Watson driving. And number 5, Hudson Phil, owned by the Kellogg Racing Stables. Jay Randall in the sulky. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. First race, pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. The Bird Dance Inn fires out for the lead. Good start for the Bird Dance Inn. Real Peace comes away in good order. Settling in third, it's Quick Shot, followed by Cigars and Port. And on the field, that's Hudson Phil. Midway through the paddock turn the first time. It's the Bird Dance Inn on top by a length. Right there in second, Real Peace. Quick Shot moving up towards the inside third. A length back to Cigars and Port. And on the field, it's Hudson Phil, as they pace by the opening quarter in 27-3. They're in the stretch for the first time. Ron Cushing has the Bird Dance Inn at 4-5 on top by a length. Tracking in second, Real Peace. Quick Shot, a ground-saving third. Length back to Cigars and Port. Fifth and last, it's Hudson Phil. No change as they swing around the clubhouse turn. The Bird Dance Inn continues to lead. A perfect pocket trip. It's Real Peace right there, a snug second. Quick Shot towards the inside at the pylons in third. They're halfway home in 56-1. They strain out down the backstretch. The Bird Dance Inn maintains a length lead over Real Peace, heading toward that three-quarter mile marker. Quick Shot is third. Length back to Cigars and Port. And on the field on the march from the back of the pack, there goes Hudson Phil. Fifth, fourth, now third, will soon be second. As they round the fourth turn, the Bird Dance Inn now 3 parts of a length. Here comes Hudson Phil on the march on the outside now second. Those two now heads up point 3/4 in 1:23-4. They're around the final turn. The Bird Dance Inn has that lead. Hudson Phil right there on the outside. Those two side by side. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. It's the Bird Dance Inn hanging tough right there on the outside. Hudson Phil through the stretch. The Bird Dance Inn still with the lead. Hudson Phil at the pylons. Real Peace, deep stretch. The Bird Dance Inn in front. Hudson Phil was second. Real Peace third. Time for the mile, 1:51 flat. The Bird Dance Inn, your race winner. Quick Shot was fourth. Cigars and Port fifth. Hudson Phil was second. Top down, 3-1, 4-5-2 on the bottom. A condition pacing event. The purse, $12,500. Owned by the Jesmerel Stable, driven by Sean Gray. Number 2, Rock of the Ages. Owned by Philip Lyons, driven by Matt Thurn. Number 3, Dietzy. Owned by Mark Eaton, Robert Griffin, and Russell Young, the driver Drew Monty. Number 4, Armenian Warrior. Owned by Vartan and Bill Krikorian, driven by Drew Campbell. Knox Vegas Blue Chip, number 5. Owned by the All-Star Racing Stable, driven by Jay Randall. Number 6 is Lone Survivor. Owned by Catherine and James Carl Smith. Nick Raffam driving. And number 7, Colorful Speech. Owned by Milton and Zachary Vickerson. Bruce Ranger in the sulky. Starting gate. Second race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. There goes Dietzy, who steps out for the lead. Far outside with a rush. Colorful Speech down inside. It's Mr. Right Hanover comes away third. Armenian Warriors dropped in fourth. A length back to Rock of the Ages. Then comes Knox, Vegas Blue Chip, and trail in the field. It's Lone Survivor. Paddock turned the first time, rolling up on the outside. Here comes Mr. Right Hanover. Down inside, it's Dietzy. Those two heads apart. Quarter time goes in 26 and 4. They're in the stretch for the first time. Sean Gray puts Mr. Right Hanover on top here, shown the way by a length now. Dietzy back to second. Colorful Speech right there in third. Armenian Warrior towards the inside is fourth. Next in line, Rock of the Ages, followed by Meadowlands Invader, Knox, Vegas Blue Chip, and trail in the field, it's Lone Survivor. They swing around the clubhouse turn. Mr. Right Hanover at 3 to 5 on the point. Dietzy is second. Colorful Speech towards the inside third. Halftime goes in 55 and 2. They straighten out down the backstretch. Mr. Right Hanover maintains a length lead over Dietzy. Colorful Speech towards the inside, chasing in third up on the outside. Here comes Rock of the Ages. Locked in now. Armenian Warrior on the outside. There goes Knox, Vegas Blue Chip. And trail in the field, it's Lone Survivor. They round the fourth turn. Mr. Right Hanover takes him by 3/4. In 124 and 3, they're on the final turn. Mr. Right Hanover, and he's got the lead. Dietzy right there, racing in second up on the outside. 3 wide. Here comes Knox, Vegas Blue Chip. Knox, Vegas Blue Chip, getting up on the outside now third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Mr. Right Hanover has that lead. Shaking loose on the outside. Here comes Dietzy now, bearing down. Dietzy on the outside. Mr. Right Hanover, deep stretch. Mr. Right Hanover. Mr. Right Hanover holds on. Time for the mile, 1:53 and 1. Hanover by Western Ideal. Owned by the Jesmerel Stable, trained by Sheena Cohen, driven to victory by Sean Gray. Mr. Right Hanover pacing the mile in 1:53 and 1. Race 2 is official. Here is the order of finish. Number 1, Mr. Right Hanover, your race winner. Rock of third race pacers lining up and moving in. On to the backstretch. Third race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. General Ward tries for the lead. Moving up on the outside. There goes Maximum Ideal down inside. Odds on Lauderdale. 3 of them across the track as they drive into the first turn. King Royalty has dropped in fourth. A link back to Joel Pa, Sweet Lou, and true on the field. It's Roll with Dom. Paddock turned the first time. Maximum Ideal on the front end. General Ward right there in second. Odds on Lauderdale moving up towards the inside third. Opening quarter on the board goes in 26 and 3. They're in the stretch for the first time. Dashing up on the outside. Here comes General Ward. And Jim Hardy puts General Ward on top by a length. Maximum Ideal now back to second. Odds on Lauderdale right there in third. King Royalty saves ground at the pylons in fourth. Followed up by Joe Pa, Sweet Lou, and true on the field. It's Roll with Dom as they swing around the clubhouse turn. General Ward at 2 to 1 on top here, shown the way by a length. Saratoga Raceway Invader, Maximum Ideal right there chasing in second. Odds on Lauderdale, ground saving third. Halftime goes in 56 seconds flat. On to the backstretch they go, and it's General Ward, and he's got the lead. Maximum Ideal right there in second. Odds on Lauderdale third. King Royalty fourth. A length back to Joe Pa, Sweet Lou. Still true on the field. It's Roll with Dom as they round the fourth turn. General Ward with the lead up on the outside. Here comes Odds on Lauderdale on the attack now second. 3 quarters here in 124-1. Around the final turn, here comes Odds on Lauderdale. And Odds on Lauderdale on the outside comes on to get the lead. General Ward back to second. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Odds on Lauderdale strides out to a 4-length lead up the pylons. Maximum Ideal far outside. Roll with Dom in deep stretch. Odds on Lauderdale in front. Time for the mile, 1:52.3. Out of Worldly Deal by Liz Mara. Owned by Eaton, McHugh, Griffin, and Young. Trained by Mike Eaton. Driven to victory by Matty Ice, a third. Odds on Lauderdale, pacing the mile at 1:52.3. Third race is official. Here is the order of finish. Number 1, Odds on Lauderdale, your race winner. General Ward was 6th. Condition pacing event. The purse, $15,000. Is Workin' Them Angels. All by Milton and Zachary Vickerson and Todd Whitney, driven by Bruce Ranger. Number 2, Twin BJs. All by Kevin G., Randy Bickmore, and Colin Jerry, driven by Nick Raffo. Number 3, Beach Watch, owned by Robert Ferreira, driven by Jay Randall. Number 4, American Rock, owned by Steve Zukowski Jr. And David and Christine Tebow, the driver Jim Hardy. Majestic Kiwi Inn, number 5, owned by the Jezmerel Stable, driven by Sean Gray. Number 6 is Caviar Skipper, owned by George and Rose Bonomo, Drew Monty driving. And number 7, Beach Chip Hanover, owned by Jeff Epstein and Stephen Gondelman, Kevin Switzer Jr. in the sulky. Fourth race pacers lining up and moving in. Fourth race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Beach Watch tries for the lead. Down inside, Working Them Angels. Majestic Kiwi Inn up on the outside away third. Twin BJs drops in fourth, a length back to American Rock. Right alongside it's Caveat Skipper. And trailing the field, that's Beach Chip Hanover. Paddock turn the first time. Working Them Angels on the front end here, showing the way 3 points of a length, driving up on the outside. Here comes Majestic Kiwi Inn. Opening corner on the board goes in 27 seconds flat. They're in the stretch for the first time. And Sean Gray puts Majestic Kiwi Inn on top by a length. Working Them Angels second. Beach Watch third. Twin BJ saving ground in fourth, followed up by American Rock. Then comes Caveat Skipper, and trailing the field, that's Beach Chip Hanover. As they swing around the clubhouse turn, Majestic Kiwi Inn with the lead. A pocket trip. Working Them Angels giving chase. Beach Watch towards the inside, a ground-saving third. They're halfway home in 55-3. They straighten out down the backstretch. Majestic Kiwi Inn at 2-5 with the lead. Working Them Angels second. Down inside Beach Watch. Racing a third up on the outside from the back of the pack. Here comes Beach Chip Hanover, now fourth. As they round the fourth turn, Majestic Kiwi Inn with the lead. Racing in second, Working Them Angels. Down inside Beach Watch, now boxed in, racing third. 3 quarters here in 124-1. Around the final turn, here comes Working Them Angels, moving up on the outside towards the inside. Majestic Kiwi Inn shaking loose on the outside. Here comes Beach Watch racing third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Majestic Kiwi Inn digs in right on the outside. Working Them Angels on the grandstand side. Beach Watch, Working Them Angels. Majestic Kiwi Inn at the wire. Majestic Kiwi Inn holds on. Time for the mile, 1:52 flat. Majestic Kiwi Inn, a 7-year-old bay gelding by Better's Delight, out of All the Way Home by Holmes Hanover. Owned by the Jezmerel Stable, trained by Sheena Cohen. That is a training double for Sheena Cohen, driven to a new lifetime record by Sean Gray. Driving double for Sean Gray. Majestic Kiwi Inn, pace. A winners over pacing event. The purse $25,000. These are the pacers for race number 5. Number 1 is Rollin' Like Thunder, owned by Richard Cortese and Don Hawk, driven by Drew Monty. Number 2, Mansum, owned by Bruce Weinstein and Elisha Lafreniere, driven by Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 3, St. Lad's Neptune, owned by the Jesmerel Stable, driven by Sean Gray. Number 4, Lackey McGuire Inn, owned by the JMF Racing Stable, the driver Brett Beckwith. Wyatt J. number 5, owned by the Kellogg Racing Stables, and Jackie Green Stables, Drew Campbell driving. And number 6, Think Big, Dream Big, owned by Brookston Medical Incorporated, Fielding, Anderberg, and Falk. Bruce Ranger. And the gate moves onto the backstretch. Fifth race pacers in behind the gate. Number 4, Lackey McGuire Inn is off stride and off the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Mansum going out for the lead. Far outside. There goes Think Big, Dream Big. Your attention, please. Inquiry sign has been posted. Please hold all tickets. Once again, inquiry sign is posted. Please hold all tickets. Think Big, Dream Big shows the way 3 parts of a length. On the outside, Mansum. Down inside, Rollin' Like Thunder comes away racing third. Gap of 4 lengths to St. Lad's Neptune. Followed up by Wyatt J. and far back trailing the field, still off stride. It's Lackey McGuire Inn. Quarter time goes in 25-4. They're in the stretch for the first time. Off stride goes St. Lad's Neptune. Bruce Ranger has Think Big, Dream Big on top by a length. Rollin' Like Thunder right there in second. Up on the outside, here comes Wyatt J. As they swing around the clubhouse turn, Think Big, Dream Big continues to lead. Pocket Trip, Rollin' Like Thunder giving chase. Wyatt J. on the march on the outside third. Towards the inside, Mansum is fourth, followed by St. Lad's Neptune. And trailing the field, it's Lackey McGuire Inn, who has pulled up. Halftime goes in 55 seconds flat. Heading toward that 3/4 mile marker. Think Big, Dream Big on top by a length. Wyatt J. up on the outside, a challenge. Rolling Like Thunder locked in towards the inside, racing third. Mansum right there, racing in fourth. As they round the 4 turn, Think Big, Dream Big takes them by 3/4 here in 1:22-1. They're around the final bend. Think Big, Dream Big has that lead towards the inside, Rolling Like Thunder. On the outside, Wyatt J. will have to do better. Racing in third, Mansum racing in fourth. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Think Big, Dream Big, down on the inside, shaking loose on the outside. Here comes Rollin' Like Thunder. Rollin' Like Thunder on the outside takes command in deep stretch. It will be Rollin' Like Thunder at 9-1. Time for the mile, 1:51-1. Returning to the winner circle, the unofficial winner, number 1, Rollin' a Blue Ray by Browning Blue Chip, owned by Richard Cortese and Don Hawk, trained by Jimmy Nickerson, driven to victory by Drew Monty. Rollin' for Lackey McGuire Inn did not reach the fair start pole when the horses were released at the starting point of the race, and as a result, refunds will be made on number 4, Lackey. Race 6 pacers lining up and moving in. And the gate moves on to the back stretch. Race 6 pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Veneno going out for the lead. Up on the outside, there he goes. He's electric. Sea City has dropped in third. Up on the outside, Jack Roger comes away in fourth, followed up by Roger That Blue Chip. Gap of 2 lengths to Still In. Length back to Franco Tristan in. And trail in the field, it's Better's Fire in. Paddock turn the first time. He's electric on top, driving up on the outside. Here comes Jack Roger. Quarter time goes in 25-4. They're in the stretch for the first time. Rolling up on the outside, here comes Jack Roger, and Jack Roger draws clear. He's electric back to second. Veneno third. CL City fourth. Up on the outside, Roger That Blue Chip, followed up by Still In. As they swing around the clubhouse turn. Towards the inside, Franco Tristan in. And trail in the field, it's Better's Fire in. They're halfway home in 53-4. They straight out down the backstretch. On the front end, Jack Roger by a length. Up on the outside, here comes Roger That Blue Chip now second, locked in. He's electric. Chasing in third. Still in up on the outside, racing in fourth. Boxed in towards the inside, Veneno. Racing in fifth. Followed by CL City down inside. Franco Tristan in. And still true in the field, it's Better's Fire in. 3/4 here in 122-1. They're on the final turn, Jack Roger. At 5-1 shows the way up on the outside, 3 wide. Here comes Still In gaining ground. Still In moving up on the outside, 3 wide. Locked in towards the inside, he's electric. They're at the top of the stretch and turned for home. Dental on the inside. Jack Roger, and he's got the lead up the pylons. Here comes He's Electric. On the far outside, Franco Tristan in. On the extreme outside, Better's Fire in. At the wire, they are heads apart. Time for the mile, 151-4. Heidi Gibbs, driven to victory by Ron Cushing. Better's Fire in, pacing the mile in 151 4/5. Duplicated in. Owned by London, Sepinuk, Brewer, and Kelson, driven by Jay Randall. Number 2, Level Up. Owned by the Seafood Delight Stable, driven by Bruce Ranger. Number 3 is Acton, Hanover. Owned by the Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Burshemi, and Dr. M. Moshkat, driven by Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 4, Ticks and Stones. Owned by David and Christine Tebow and Ed Nowak Jr., the driver Jim Hardy. The Wayfaring Man, number 5. Owned by Katie Flaherty, driven by Matt Thurn. Number 6, Star Commander in. Owned by Lon Frachon and Jimmy Whittemore. Jimmy Whittemore driving. And number 7, Motive Hanover. Owned by George and Rose Bonomo. Drew Monty in the sulky. To the starting gate. Seventh race pacers lining up and moving in. And the gate moves on to the back stretch. Seventh race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Acton Hanover sprints out for the lead. Mid-pack, there goes the Wayfaring Man. Down inside, Duplicated in. comes away racing third. Level Up has dropped in fourth, a length back to Ticks and Stones. Gap of 2 lengths to Star Commander in. And trailing the field, it's Motive Hanover. Paddock turn the first time. It's Acton Hanover. 11-1 on top here, shown the way by a full length. As they pace by the opening quarter in 26 seconds flat. They're in the stretch for the first time. And Kevin Switzer Jr. has Acton Hanover on top by almost 2. The Wayfaring Man giving chase. Duplicated in towards the inside third, gap of 2 lengths to Level Up racing in fourth. Then comes Ticks and Stones, length back to Star Commander in. And trailing the field, it's Motive Hanover. They swing around the clubhouse turn. Acton Hanover in command. A pocket trip. The Wayfaring Man right there. Racing in second. Duplicated in towards the inside. Takes up the chase in third. Halftime goes in 53-3. On to the backstretch they go. And it's Acton Hanover. And he's got the lead. Followed by the Wayfaring Man at the pylons. And second, here comes Level Up. Moving up on the outside. He's now third. Followed by Duplicated in. Racing in fourth. Ticks and Stones down inside. Motive Hanover and trailing the field at Star Commander in. 3/4 here in 1:21-2. They're on the final turn. Acton Hanover. 3 parts of a length. Here comes Level Up moving up on the outside. Those two now heads apart. The Wayfaring Man towards the inside racing third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home on the grandstand side. Level Up puts ahead in front. Acton Hanover battles back towards the inside there, stride for stride. Acton Hanover, Level Up on the far outside. Here comes Ticks and Stones, steep stretch. It will be Acton Hanover in front. Time for the mile, 1:51-2. By the Ponderosa, owned by the Burke Racing Stable, Weaver Buscemi and Dr. M. Moshkat. Trained by Joe Nelson. Driven to victory by Kevin Switzer Jr. Acton Hanover pacing. Race, a conditioned pacing event. The purse $10,000. Latin King, owned by William Phipps, driven by Matt Thurn. Number 2 is Looking for Adventure, owned by Kathleen Brewer, driven by Nick Graffam. Number 3, Christ Sagan, owned by William McIlvain Jr., the driver Kevin Switzer Jr. Number 4, Uncle Joe T., owned by the Fox Ridge Stable and Carol Zemko, the driver Wally Watson. Stonebridge Grand, number 5, owned by Billy and Janice Abdonor, driven by Drew Monty. Number 6 is Common Discourtesy, owned by Richard Knight, driven by Bruce Ranger. Number 7, Major Crisis A, owned by Brian Sears. Brett Beckwith driving. And number 8, Image of a Rocker, owned by Anthony Loico, Drew Campbell, and the Sulky. That's your... And the gate moves on to the backstretch. 8th race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing from the inside. Christ Sagan tries for the lead from between horses. Uncle Joe T on the outside. There goes Stonebridge Grand down inside. Latin King comes away 4th. Length back to Looking for Adventure on the outside. Major Crisis A, Common Discourtesy, and trailing the field, it's Image of a Rocker. Paddock turn the first time, rolling up on the outside. Here comes Uncle Joe T. Uncle Joe T on the outside. Stonebridge Grand down inside. Those two heads apart. Quarter time goes in 27-1. They're in the stretch for the first time. Stonebridge Grand shows the way. Parked out now. Uncle Joe T is second. Christ Sagan locked in towards the inside third. Latin King fourth. followed by Looking for Adventure. Then comes Comment Discourtesy. Off stride goes Uncle Joe T. Uncle Joe T has gone off stride. As they swing around the clubhouse turn, Stonebridge Grand on top by a length. Chrysagon racing in second. Latin King third, length back. Looking for Adventure, followed by Comment Discourtesy. Image of a Rocker, followed by Major Crisis A. Far back, trail in the field, back on the pace. Uncle Joe T. Halftime goes in 56-3. Heading toward that 3/4 mile marker. Stonebridge Grand is loose on the lead. Chrysagon racing in second up on the outside. Here comes Comment Discourtesy. Racing third, trapped in towards the inside. Latin King is fourth. 3/4 and 1:24-2. They're on the final turn. Drew Monty has Stonebridge Grand at 2-1, shown the way by 2. Chrysagon towards the inside. Racing in second, Comment Discourtesy trying to close the gap on the outside third. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home, and they're all chasing. Stonebridge Grand shown the way by 2. Chrysagon now shaking loose on the outside. Up the pylons, Latin King far outside, Image of a Rocker in deep stretch. It's going to be Stonebridge Grand in front. Time for the mile, 1:53-4. Said, owned by Billy and Janice Abdelnour, trained by Billy Abdelnour, and by Drew Monty. Driving double for Drew Monty, Stonebridge Grand, pacing the mile at 1:53-4. Eighth race is official. Here is the order of finish. Number 1, Latin King third. Looking for Adventure was sixth. Chrysagon second. Uncle Joe T was eighth. This field is in motion. And the gate moves on to the backstretch. Ninth race pacers in behind the gate. They're off and pacing. There goes Stars in Heaven out for the lead. Also on the move, there goes Major Leaguer from between horses, way too close. Down inside, Rockin' Cougar comes away racing in fourth. A length back to Sports Nest. On the outside, it's Put to Right, followed up by Kiwi Tintinin. Then comes Bagpipe Major, and trail in the field, it's Force and Fury. Paddock turn the first time. Stars in Heaven with the lead. It's Stars in Heaven on top here, shown the way by a full length. Quarter time goes in 27 seconds flat. They're in the stretch for the first time, and Drew Monty has Stars in Heaven at 4-5 on top by a length. Racing in second, Major Leaguer. Way to close third. Rockin' Cougar fourth. Up on the outside, Sports Nest underway from fifth. There goes Put to Right, moving up on the outside, second over. Followed by Kiwi Tintinin down inside. It's Bagpipe Major and trail in the field, Force and Fury. Halftime goes in 55-3. They straighten out down the backstretch. Stars in Heaven continues to lead with Major Leaguer right there tucked in. Racing in second, here comes Sports Nest moving up on the outside. He's now third, followed by Put to Right on the outside, boxed in towards the inside, way to close, racing in fifth. As they round the fourth turn, Stars in Heaven has opened up a 2-length lead. Takes them by 3/4 and 1:23-1. They're on the final turn. Stars in Heaven, and he's got the lead by 2. Up on the outside, Sports Nest now second and gaining ground. Major Leaguer locked in towards the inside, racing third. Up on the outside, Put to Right is fourth. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. Stars in Heaven set down for the stretch drive. Sports Nest on the outside, racing in second. Far outside, Put to Right, but coming down to the wire, it will be Stars in Heaven, coast to coast. Time for the mile, 151 and 3. Returning to the winner circle, no double for Jimmy Nickerson. Driven to victory by Drew Monty. Driving triple hat trick for Drew Monty. Condition pacing event. The purse, $8,500. These are the pacers for race number 10. Number 1, Ginger Tree Will, owned by Bill Krikorian, driven by Drew Campbell. Number 2 is Hoboken Hanover, owned by Charles Eaton, driven by Wally Watson. Number 3, Popo D, under lease to Erwin Rosenthal, the driver Brent Beckwith. Scratch number 4, Beantown Sporty, CBF Bantam number 5, owned by Glenn Harris and Marion Phelps, driven by Jay Randall. Number 6, Burks Bandit, owned by Lynn and Paul Silva, the driver Matt Thurn. Number 7 is Hollywood Demon, owned by Mike Gerard, driven by Nick Raffam. Number 8, Plus One, owned by Joe Burke, Kevin Switzer Jr. driving. And number 9, Mock Diesel, owned by Frank McEachran. Bruce Ranger in the sulky. Post time for the upcoming 10th race finale in 5 minutes. 5 minutes until post time. The pacers are making their way back to the starting gate. And the gate moves onto the backstretch. Nightcap Pacers in behind the gate. 10th and final here at Plainridge Park. They're off and pacing from the inside. A Ginger Tree Well tries for the lead. Mid-pack, there goes CBF Bantam. Far outside, Hollywood Demon comes away third. Plus One moving up on the outside away fourth. Down inside, it's Hoboken Hanover. Gap of 2 lengths to Popo D. Then comes Burks Bandit. And from the field, that's Mock Diesel. Paddock turned the first time, rolling up on the outside. Here comes Hollywood Demon. Hollywood Demon on the outside comes on to get the lead. Quarter time goes in 27 and 3. They're in the stretch for the first time. And Nick Raffam has Hollywood Demon on top by a length. Racing in second, CBF Bantam. Ginger Treewell is third, Plus One fourth. Hoboken Hanover fifth. Length back, Popo D, followed up by Burks Bandit and from the field, Mock Diesel, as they swing around the clubhouse turn. CBF Bantam now on top. CBF Bantam and Jay Randall lead it by a length. Hollywood Demon is second up on the outside. Racing in third, Plus One. Halftime goes in 56 seconds flat. They strain out down the backstretch. CBF Bantam at 6-1 on top, heading toward that 3/4 mile marker. Hollywood Demon giving chase in the pocket, racing in second, Plus One up on the outside third. Trapped in towards the inside, Ginger Tree Will is fourth. There goes Hoboken Hanover up on the outside, followed by Popo D, length back Burks Bandit, and trailing the field, Mock Diesel. 3/4 in 1:24 flat. They're on the final turn. CBF Bantam still with the lead. Towards the inside, Hollywood Demon racing in second, Plus One. Will have to do better on the outside, up on the outside, 3 wide. There goes Ginger Tree Will. They're at the top of the stretch and turn for home. CBF Bantam kicks away and leads by 2. Hollywood Demon is second, followed by Plus One up the pylons. Hoboken Hanover deep stretch. CBF Bantam in front. Time for the mile, 1:53 and 3. Cohen Utopia by Island Fantasy. Owned by Glenn Harris and Marion Phelps. Trained by Scott Rollins. Driven to victory by Jay Randall. CBF Bantam pacing the mile in 153 3/5. The 10th race is official. Here is the order of finish. Number 1, Ginger Tree Will was 7th. Hoboken